What's going on YouTube? In this video I want to talk about a $200 per month downsell that you can pitch to prospects that are broke or they don't have a lot of money, they're not doing as good as other prospects. So that way you can at least walk away from the call having made some money. And it's also passive money versus a one-time payment. Before we dive in, if you're someone that's completely stuck, you don't know if you should do email copywriting, inbound closing, call setting, and you're looking for someone to point you in the right direction, tell you what you should charge, tell you the pros and cons of the services, tell you how to get your first client, all that, I recommend you book a free strategy call below, and me or one of my team members will talk with you and explain what you're doing wrong and point you in the right direction. And then if it makes sense too, we can chat about potentially getting into our HFM mentorship program. Inside there, we micromanage you for 6 whole months, nitpicking your business. This is unheard of in the online space. No one's doing what we're doing. Also, if you're looking to join a community of like-minded individuals who want to get the hell out of their jobs and learn some other free information, I recommend you get into our free Facebook group below. Now, the goal of any sales call is to get a retainer. You can do commission deals too. That would be considered a downsell, or you can go into it with just pitching commission only. But you run the risk of not making any money because you're brand new. You might not have the confidence yet. We're talking about what can you pitch to a business to at least get some money out of a call. It's super easy getting sales calls. It's so easy when you have a system set up. But not every prospect that gets on a call with you is going to be able to afford your services. This is how it goes. They might not be able to pay you 50 bucks an email. They're not there yet. They're on their way, but they're not quite at a spot where they're ready to fork over a bunch of money for email services. This is what you do. So you get on the call, you're talking with the prospect, you establish that they do want, your service, but now it comes time to talk about the price. And the price you usually talk about at the end of the call. And before you get to the end of the call, you want to kind of have established too how much money they're making in their business. If you can't get that out of them, that's fine. But you do want to get that intel because that will help you pitch and price yourself accordingly. But even if you do all that, even if you have figured out what they're making with their business, you actually know that what you do will be a good fit for them. It's a good price point. But sometimes they're still going to say no because they don't want to fork over that money because they're scared or whatever. And they might be right on the border of it making sense for them. If they've been making a little bit more per month, you coming in for your $1,500 to $3,000 a month isn't a big deal. But the day you have the call with them, they might not be there yet. So we want to set up a system of offering our services that at least we can get some money out of it. So what do? I would normally recommend you say this. So you're at the pitch part. You drop your price. I want $1,500 per month to write all your emails every day. This is a great offer for a starting email copywriter. And then you just shut up and you wait for them to either say, let's do it, or they're going to say, they're going to give you a price objection. They're going to give you a they don't believe objection, or they're going to give you a need to talk it over with my spouse, business partner objection. Those are the 3 most common objections you're going to get, by the way. It's money, partner. Think about it. So if it's a money issue, you can start out by talking about, okay, well, do you think that me writing your emails will be, your coaching product, Mr. Prospect, is $5,000. Do you think we can at least get one extra sale off your list to justify paying me $1,500 a month? Put it in perspective. Always bring it back to the money. You have to make one extra sale, and I'm going to write an email for you every single day. And Mr. Prospect, at the end of the 30 days, if you don't like how it's going, we can just stop working together. But if that doesn't work, you can start downselling. So what you would say is, okay, well, what about we do this? Because if we both get off the call, neither one of us benefits. You don't get, and always say what they're missing out on. You don't get your email list handled every single day thoroughly. You're not getting a message out to your list every single day. And I'm walking away not having made any money, right? So we both lose. So what if we do this instead? I will work for you for $1,000 a month. So we're going to shave off $500 and say it like that because that just immediately pops in their head like, oh, we're saving $500. So you actually say it. You're going to save $500 a month starting out. I'll still write an email every single day just to get you up and running. Then when we start making you money, you see the actual money, we can talk about getting me back up to my original price. How does that sound? And then you just shut up again. So when you say a spiel, always ask, how does that sound? The goal is we want to go from $1,500, drop down a decent amount, as much as you're willing to drop down. There's no set rule, it has to be $1,000. But as much as you're willing to go down, maybe you desperately need the deal. Maybe you need a case study. You're willing to go to go pretty low, then you can do this. If you're not willing to go to 1,000, maybe 1,200. You're going to save $300 a month, Mr. Prospect. But we don't want to drop down to the $200 a month just yet. And I'll get to the offer and how it all works later. So, we're trying to get as much money out of the deal. You make one sale at $1,000 a month, that's 5 months equivalent to $200 a month. So you might as well, work your way down the ladder. Don't just start out at the $200 a month downsell. In business, it's all about negotiation. So after you get to the point you dropped 1,000, how does that sound? They're still squirming. You still can't get them to pull the trigger. Then, you can decide at that point, do you want to do a commission-only deal where you have a potential you could make more than $1,500 a month as a commission, but you also actually have to get the skill set to make it happen. Do you have the skill set to actually make you money? Do they have a big enough list? Are they growing their list? Had they been managing their list before you showed up? There's all these questions you got to ask yourself. If you don't want to do a commission-only deal, and by the way, for your first downsell, you could go between both. You could do a commission-only deal. You can with commission-only deal with a setup fee. Charge a nice setup fee for yourself, or you can just go straight to the downsell retainer, like I've been saying, $1,000 a month. But if all that falls flat, the final option that I would recommend any new copywriter to offer is a $200 per month consulting package. And you'd say, what we do with this $200 a month consulting package, since you explain to them, you understand where they're at. You don't just want to start pitching this, you don't want to just boom, 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 do these downsells. You want to make it flow. So you're like, this does happen from time to time. I totally respect you told me your numbers. You're not quite at the spot where you can afford a copywriter, but I have one final service that I offer people, which is almost as good as writing emails. It's super cheap, affordable. It's just $200 a month, and what I do is every day I DM you one DM, and you don't respond to it. We're not trying to have a conversation for $200 a month, right? And you can even tell them that. It's just I'm going to DM you one idea that you should write for your email list, or you can write it for your posts anywhere you want to post on social media. I'm going to give you the idea. I'm going to brainstorm, and then you could say this. I'm part of an organization of email copywriters. I know what topics are converting, all that. You can leverage organizations you're already part of. This is what I tell my students. I say, hey, you can leverage Hybrid Freelance Machine. You can leverage the shit out of it and say you're part of an organization and you got all those data, you got this big database and emails that are converting left and right. You know what's working, what's not working for their specific business type, which is coaching. This is more like a coaching I'm thinking about when I'm talking about this in this video. I'm part of all these organizations. I'm subscribed to all these lists. I know what emails people are sending. I know what ones work, which ones are converting. So I'm going to send you a topic every day, and I'm going to make sure you're spacing the appropriate types of emails apart. So we don't want to do too many repetitive emails, Mr. Client. We want to make sure you're hitting all the different types of emails that you should be sending. Before and after emails, discount emails, brand story emails, get them off the fence emails, and you can just ramble these on, just like different types of emails that they should be sending. So they're gonna think you're a god at this shit. So you want to hype it up, like you have a bunch of intel that they don't. Because if you don't show them this, why would they pay you? You have to always try to make it seem like you have the edge over them, because otherwise they're not gonna pay you. You have some sort of thing you're doing that they don't have yet, and they'll never get it unless they pay you. You never want to downplay what you're doing, like, oh, it isn't much. I just subscribe to email lists and see what they're sending. Or I'm just part of a free Facebook group, or I'm part of a free group. You don't want to do that. So that's the offer. You would do a DM a day, and then also you would do 1 hour-long call with them on Zoom every week, and you just tell them straight up. It will be on the calendar, but if you don't show up, because they might not want to show up, there's tons of reasons they wouldn't want to. They're just busy. Business owners are pretty busy. It's there. You'll be on the call for the first 10 minutes, and if they don't show up, you'll cancel. You'll get off the call. So you let them know. They have 10 minutes to get on the call. That way, you're not sitting on that call waiting the whole hour if they don't show up. But it's there, and you do not want to do it like this. You do not want to tell them, hey, you can book a call whenever you want during the week, because then that leaves it up to them, and then they're going to look at their calendar every week. It's empty. And they're just going to be like, I don't know what value I'm getting out of these calls. I don't even use these calls. If it's on the calendar booked, it's an extra thing that it's in their subconscious telling them that they have value. It's an extra thing visually, and they see it on their calendar every week. They can show up if they want. And on that call, you'll just, they can ask whatever they want about anything, email related, what they should set up. You're not writing the emails for them. It's just a consulting call. And you do 4 of those a month. That's 1 hour, it's $50 an hour. You can even do higher if you want, but you don't want to go too high because remember, we're doing a final last-ditch downsell. A final last-ditch downsell. So you don't want to go like, too high and you lose the money because they already are in that broke mindset. But you don't want to go too low, so about $50 an hour. You can charge higher if you want, but that's a great offer because a lot of the calls, they won't even show up, so it's not even going to be an hour of your time. And then the DM thing is going to take you 5 minutes a day, literally 5 minutes, to come up with an idea for an email that they will write. So you take 5 minutes a day, that will make up for any days they miss. So it ends up being about 4 hours a month for one client, 200, that's $50 an hour. That ain't bad starting out, especially you don't even have to write. You just have to answer questions. And it's pulling money out of a deal you were already going to get off the call and never hear from that person again. Because this thing takes years. They might be suffering when you get on the call, and it'll take them a whole year before they start succeeding with their business, and they're going to forget about you. Someone else is going to hit them up. So don't think that they're just going to come around randomly and want you to write their emails. No, it doesn't happen like that. Usually it's going to be 6 months to a year before you ever have any opportunity to pitch them again your service. So we want to get the sale before we're off the call. We want to get the money. And if you had 10 calls, let's say, and you closed 3 of them as an email copywriter, there's 7 people that didn't get closed, 7 of them times 200, or you probably wouldn't convert all of them into 200, but let's just say you got 3 of them. You're making an extra $600 a month of money you would never have even seen to work a couple extra hours a week. And then remember too, the downsell of $200 a month, you can always increase it as you get more and more of these people because you won't be as desperate to get more, so you can raise your prices. The more clients you get, the more money that's flowing to you, the more you can raise your prices. It's just how it goes in every single business. Again, if you are stuck, you're looking for a system to get clients, you need advice, I recommend you book that free strategy call below. And then 2, if you want to join a group of people that have the same mentality as you, that want to get the hell out of corporate America, I recommend you get into the free Facebook group below. Would love to have you inside.